For he had married an Ethiopian woman. And they said, had the Lord indeed spoken only by Moses?
Now they said, have the Lord spoken only by Moses? Now to answer your question, Jojo, the Lord speaks through people.
That's right.
When the Lord appears on earth, oftentimes the Lord appeared through people. In this instant, the Lord came through Moses. When Moses split the Red Sea, it wasn't really Moses that split the Red Sea. It was actually the Lord that split the Red Sea. When Moses turned his staff into a snake, it wasn't really Moses who turned his staff into a snake. It was the Lord that turned his staff into a snake. Just like he turned the water to blood, he made the frogs come up, the locusts come up. All of that came from the Lord. That's why even Jesus Christ himself, when he raised Lazarus from the dead, who remember what Jesus Christ did right before he did that? He asked the Most High to do it. And you know what he did when he asked the Most High to do it? He looked up to the sky and said, Lord, I'm doing this for the people. Meaning he's praying out loud, not because he's doubting himself and the prayer that he has to the Lord, but he wanted the people to see this power come from the Lord. I'm asking the Lord to do this. They already said he's been dead more than 3 days. He already have the stink in his body. His body is decaying already. They thought it was impossible. Not that nobody never was risen from the dead before, but nobody been dead that long in the Bible and then was risen from the dead. So that's why Christ had to look up to the sky and pray to the Lord, because all of his miracles came from the Lord. So they asked a question. Do the Lord only speak through you, Moses? Read on.
Had he not spoken also by us?
So look, guess what? The Lord also used Miriam and Aaron. Do y'all know Miriam is also a prophet? She's a prophetess.
God.
She's a woman prophet. There goes when people try to say, oh, the Bible hate women. That's a lie. We're reading about a female prophet right now. Aaron was also a prophet. That's why I said, don't the Lord speak through us? Y'all know every time Moses went to Pharaoh, Moses didn't really speak to Pharaoh. It was Aaron speaking for him. And then Moses just put the staff down. Boom. All right. You don't want to listen? Turn this water to blood right now. So Aaron, the Lord was speaking through Aaron also. Read on.
And the Lord heard it. Now the man Moses was very meek.
Now it said, and the Lord what?
Heard it.
Don't y'all know the Lord hear our conversations? The same way the Lord hear us praying to him, the Lord hear us complaining and murmuring also.
That's right.
So keep that in mind. Read on.
Now the man Moses was very meek.
The man Moses was what?
Very meek.
You know what it means to be meek? It's another word for humble. Lowly. Moses is the type of person, he don't want no confrontation. You know, he don't want to be bothering people. He's very humble. It's very rare that you get that from people in positions of power, especially somebody like Moses. Because the first thing people want to do when they get power is do what? Rule over you. Flex their power around. Moses was not that type of person. Moses was a humble, meek person. The most meek person upon the earth. Read on.
Above all the men which were upon the face of the earth.
Read on.
And the Lord spake suddenly unto Moses, and unto Aaron, and unto Miriam, come out ye three unto the tabernacle of the congregation.
Now, the Lord appeared through Moses, but guess what? Sometimes the Lord has appeared not himself physically, but he will have himself vocally heard through the prophets. Because this wasn't something that just Moses heard in his head. It said he spoke to who? Moses, Aaron, and Miriam. Meaning they vocally heard the Most High say, get out of here right now. Get out of that temple. I want to speak to y'all. So the Lord could do that as well. Do y'all know there's an incident in the New Testament where Christ spoke, and then the voice of the Lord came from out of the sky? And everyone got scared and said, nah, that had to be thunder. You know how you try to reason, you try to make a logical excuse for something? You know what you heard, but you like, nah, that couldn't have been a voice from out the sky. That had to be thunder. That's what they said. So the Lord vocally presented himself on the earth as well. Read on.
And they three came out.
And they three came out. Read on.
And the Lord came down in the pillar of the cloud.
So the Lord came down where?
In the pillar of the cloud.
In the what?
Pillar of the cloud.
Now when you read the scriptures, we know that this is not just a normal cloud. We're going, matter of fact, hold what you got.
Exodus 13:21.
That's the one that I was actually looking for right there. Brother Ray, do you mind reading that?
Okay, no problem. Book of Exodus, chapter 13, verse 21.
Chapter 1.
And the Lord went before them by day in a pillar of a cloud.
So you see how I said the Lord went before them by day in the pillar of the cloud when the Israelites were being led out of Egypt. They was following something that looked like a cloud in the sky. Read on.
To lead them the way. And by night in a pillar of fire.
But then at nighttime, what did that cloud look like? Looked like fire in the sky. So you got to understand in modern times what this would look like in the eyes of man. In the daytime, it's something flying around in the sky. Look like it's a cloud, but you're not too sure. Then at nighttime, it's glowing like fire, like amber fire in the sky. Let's get another description of this. Go to Ezekiel chapter 1, verse 3.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 1, verse 4. And I looked, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north.
So this cloud also is described as a whirlwind. What type of motion do a whirlwind do? Swirls, it spins around. So this is an oval shape. This is a circular shape. Read on.
A great cloud.
A great what?
A great cloud.
The same cloud that the Lord descended in. So the brother Jojo asks, how does the Lord appear on earth? Well, this is another way how he appears on earth. He appears in a cloud, but this cloud is a little bit different than the average cloud. Read on.
And a fire enfolding itself.
So it's inside of the cloud. It looked like what?
A fire enfolding itself.
So it looked like there was lights of fire inside of this cloud. When it says enfolded, meaning encapsulated inside of this cloud. So it wasn't like a big cloud like all over the place, like when you look in the sky right now, it look all cloudy and rainy. It wasn't like that type of cloud. It was a cloud that was like one shape, fire enfolded inside of it. Now in today's time, what will you call that if you seen that with your own two eyes?
What would you call it?
UFO? That's what we would call it. What about you? What would you think? Yeah, exactly. And I'm only asking you because some people have never read these scriptures before. So sometimes when people ask questions about aliens, UFOs, religious people tend to just dismiss these people and just rule them out. Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Get out of here. But then people are saying, look, I know what I saw with my own two eyes. Now we're finding out that guess what? The Lord could appear in the same fashion. The angels can appear in the same fashion. But we just didn't know better to say, hey, those are angels. Hey, that's the Lord right there. We didn't know better. So in the world we call them UFOs. What does the word UFO stand for?
Unidentified flying object.
Unidentified flying object. But now the Bible is identifying it.
They have another one now, UFP.
UF what?
UFP.
What's that?
Unidentified flying phenomenon.
Phenomenon. And guess what? Didn't the government come out recently and admit that they encountered?
What do you mean, poof, it's gone?
I mean, exactly that. Like, it's 1 minute it's there, and the next second, it's like magic trick. So I asked the other airplane, I said, hey, do you guys see that? And they're like, it's gone. It just disappeared.
When you saw this kind of performance, what was the first thing that went through your mind?
What the hell was that?
Once back on the carrier, Fravor's team told the next crew what had happened, and that crew took off ready to capture something on camera. And this is what they saw.
I guess the biggest question is, What do you think it is?
I honestly don't know. I don't think that we have developed that technology. I don't think we developed it on this planet. We still, to this day, have no idea what it was, what we saw, what we chased, what we engaged. But it was pretty spectacular.
A report from that incident eventually made its way to the Pentagon and crossed the desk of Luis Elizondo, the former director of the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program.
In essence, what that program was an investigatory body looking at what we call the UAP, probably in the vernacular, it's better known as the UFO phenomenon. The bottom line here is that over the past several decades, we in the Department of Defense and the intelligence community have been noticing things in our airspace that don't have wings, they don't have cockpits, they don't have even an obvious sign of propulsion like an engine, and yet still they're able to defy the natural effects of Earth's gravity.
In 2020, the Pentagon declassified 3 videos, the Tic Tac video and 2 others filmed on the East Coast in January of 2015. Other countries have made similar public disclosures. Also in 2004, the Mexican Air Force confirmed this video was shot by one of their pilots near the coast of Baja California.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 en la pantalla.
In 2014, the helicopter from the Chilean Navy locked onto an unidentified object emitting what appeared to be some sort of gas or vapor. Both governments have said they investigated but couldn't determine what the objects were. To those like science writer Sarah Scholes, clipped black and white videos always leave a lot to the imagination.
So now even the government is acknowledging that they encountered what people call UFOs today. And now we're reading out of the Bible that, guess what? Sometimes God appears in this fashion. So go back to Numbers chapter 12. And let's pick up where we left off at.
The book of Numbers chapter 12, continuing with verse 4. And they 3 came out. Verse 5. And the Lord came down in the pillar of the cloud and stood in the door of the tabernacle and called Aaron and Mary. And they both came forth.
So now this same cloud that we just read about with the encapsule of fire and the whirlwind, you got to imagine how scary this must look to them. So when he say come forth and they both got to walk towards that cloud, their heart is beeping. Because now it's nothing but fear. Read on.
And he said, hear now my words. If there be a prophet among you.
Now here's the real answer to JoJo's question. God appears through prophets. God will not show his face directly to you because the scripture tell you that if any man see the Lord's face, what's going to happen to them? They're going to die. The Lord is too powerful to reveal himself to you in that fashion. We could barely look at the sun. They say if you look directly at the sun, what happened to you? You go blind. So imagine you look at the face of the Most High. You probably die 10 times. So, read that again.
Verse 6 again. And he said, hear now my words. If there be a prophet among you, I, the Lord, will make myself known unto him in a vision.
In a what?
In a vision.
Read on.
And will speak unto him in a dream.
Right. So prophets normally represent the Most High on earth. A real prophet, because oftentimes we as Israelites say, oh, we're the prophets. But when we're saying that, we're not saying it in a literal sense of like a prophet, what we're reading about here. A real prophet, the Lord is directly speaking to them through a vision or a dream. So a vision is like a dream. The only difference is you're actually woke. You're actually woke and you're living through it. Like the whole book of Revelations is a vision. John the Revelator was woke the whole time. The angel took his spirit up into the heavens, had him inside of the dream, actually living it. Seeing it with his own 2 eyes. Now, oftentimes in visions, you will see literal things and you will also see things that are metaphorical. Sometimes the prophets themselves don't even know what it means yet. Sometimes they do. Now, in a dream, you're actually asleep. Lord will give you a dream. Now y'all know most of the time when y'all wake up, y'all don't remember y'all dreams. Most of the time you only remember the last dream that you had right before you woke up. And that's if you remember it. But really, you're having dream after dream after dream while you sleep at night. You don't realize that you're having multiple dreams at night. So for you to wake up and vividly remember a dream, sometimes that be the Most High talking to you. Now, how do you know if it's not a normal dream or a dream from the Most High? Well, we're about to read it.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 13, verse 1. If there arise among you a prophet.
So let's say somebody come up and say, I'm a prophet. The Lord spoke to me through a vision or a dream. Read.
Or a dreamer of dreams. And giveth thee a sign or a wonder.
Now, when the Lord give you a dream, he don't give you a dream just because, like, oh, the dream, the Lord spoke to you, but he just gave you a bunch of jibber jabber. It don't mean nothing. No, he's giving you a dream for you to have a message. Normally, the message is not only for you. The message is for the people.
That's describing Joseph in a nutshell right there.
Yeah, right. Right. Joseph was a dreamer.
Yeah.
And when he had his dream, think about this. Everything in Joseph's dream was metaphorical.
Right.
He dreamed that the sun and the moon and 11 stars praised him and bowed down to him. Now, somebody might say, oh, that's such a silly dream. But look what it turned out. Look what it actually meant. Joseph ended up saving not only his family, but the whole entire world. And in the end, as a sign that that wasn't just a dream, what happened? His father, his 11 brothers, they all had to bow down to him in real life. So your dream actually has to come to pass. Read on.
Verse 2. And the sign or the wonder come to pass, whereof he spake unto thee, saying, let us go after other gods.
Now, here's the thing. Let's say somebody dream a dream and it do happen. It do come to pass. Is that the end all be all to say, oh, well, see, God was talking to him? Nope. Because what if this guy says, see, I knew the Lord was talking to me and we're all going to go to Mecca and praise Allah. Is that a man of God? Is that a prophet from the Most High? No. So that dream didn't come from God. That dream came from who? Satan. Read on.
Let us go after the other God, which thou hast not known, and let us serve them. Thou should not hearken unto the words of that prophet.
You should not hearken unto his words. You should not listen to those words. Read on.
Or that dreamer of dreams. For the Lord your God proveth you, to know whether ye love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul.
It's all a test. The same way the Lord tests Job, the Lord tests us. So the way that you know if your dream is actually a dream from the Most High, it actually has to come to pass. Something in your dream will actually play out in real life. Now, if you turn around and say this is an excuse to worship another God, then that dream was from Satan. But now if you're in the truth, keeping the people in the word of God, that dream is from the Most High God. That's simple as that. So go back to Numbers chapter 12.
The book of Numbers chapter 12 verse 8. With him will I speak mouth to mouth.
So Moses was a different kind of prophet. It said with him I will speak mouth to mouth. As you see, we just read, the Lord spoke to them and said, come out here. And all three of them heard the Lord's voice, right? The Lord don't do that with everybody. People think that everybody want to be special. If the Lord is real, he'll talk to me right now. You nobody. You're not Moses. The Lord ain't going to have no voice come out the sky to tell you he real. Moses is the only one to have that done besides Christ. It said, with him I speak mouth to mouth. Meaning Moses don't got to figure it out. Well, he gave me a dream, and it was a scroll flying in the air, and it went over there, and I wonder what that means. Moses ain't had to figure it out. The Lord told him plainly, hey, the children of Israel are going to go into slavery through slave ships. They're going to go back to the house of bondage and slave ships. Now write that down and call that the book of Deuteronomy. The Lord spoke to Moses plain. Read on.
Even apparently, and not in dark speeches. And the similitude of the Lord shall he behold. Wherefore then we're yet not afraid to speak against my servant Moses.
Now this is the thing. This is something that we all got to learn. So many people who call themselves Israelites and Christians, they say, oh, I want to be like David. I want to be like David. Let me tell you something David understood that most of us don't understand. David knew not to touch the Most High Anointed. Saul was trying to kill him. Had him on a run, chasing him down. David could have killed him. This guy's asleep. And Joab is like, do you want me to take this spear, throw it through his heart right now? David said, nope. As long as he's still the king, he's the Most High Anointed. Don't touch that man. David even understood that, even though the Lord was with David and the Lord wasn't with Saul. But David understood order. David understood if the Lord picked this man, the Lord will make me king. I don't have to do it with my own hands.
Didn't he leave some there to let him know that he was there?
Right, yeah. He took a piece of took a piece of cloth off of his garment.
Yeah.
Then when Saul woke up, he said, look, you see this? I could have killed you, but I didn't do it.
And that was what, the second time?
Yeah. Yeah, because it was multiple times that David could have killed Saul. I bring that up to say this. They know that the Lord was speaking to Moses. They seen the power that Moses was coming in. Moses, let me tell you how powerful Moses was. When Moses came down from getting the 10 Commandments, he had to cover his face because the power was so radiant that they couldn't even look at Moses' face. So now the Lord is telling them, y'all saw all of that. You wasn't scared to talk about Moses? Like, how prideful and boastful you gotta be.
Most High, wanted to speak to the children of Israel, but the children of Israel told Moses, said, we was afraid to go talk to him. You go talk to him, come tell us what he said.
So that made Moses a what?
Huh?
So what did that make Moses? A mediator.
Mediator, okay.
Because the people said it. When the Lord, it was a loud trumpet sound, smoke and fire everywhere, and people got so scared. They said, Moses, you talk to the Lord, because if you don't, we're going to die. Moses said, but y'all asked for this. Y'all said y'all wanted to. No, please, we don't want to die. At that point, Moses became a mediator between man and God. That's why Moses prophesied, one like unto me will come. A prophet like unto me amongst your brethren. Meaning not a normal prophet, not Isaiah, not Jeremiah, Christ, who was going to come and be a mediator between y'all and God. Christ is the only one to fulfill that position. There's no other prophet that you can say, this guy was like Moses. Nobody. Only person come close was what? Elijah. He came close, and even then, the Lord didn't directly speak to Elijah. Elijah was just that powerful, though, that was the closest thing you could read. Because all of the prophets before him, they just say seer. They don't even say the name. Only prophet you read about before Elijah that they even mention his name is Nathan the prophet. That's it. When Elijah come on the scene, everything changed. All of a sudden, people wanted to know who was that prophet. Because Elijah came on a whole nother level. But my point in making that is, Moses was different. Nobody except for Christ was able to take that position.